Hey guys, if you haven't watched part 1 of this video, then check description and watch this video. Now let's start with episode 5 and 6. At the hospital, young Yuichi counts his money. Yuka tells him that there is something more important than money and its friends. He wonders what she means by friends, but she corrects him, saying that she needs to call her mother now. Outside, he meets with his new father, who asks him if he knows what is the most important thing in life, and Yuichi states money. Yuichi and Tenji wake up in a cave. Manabu informs them that to prepare for the third game, they need to stay there for 3 days. Yuichi notices that they have only 1 bottle of water for 3 days. Tenji tells him that he only kissed him as he wanted to come with him and be able to explain to him why he betrayed his friends. Tenji explains this is his second Tomodachi game and gives Yuichi a signal to cover his name tag. Tenji states it's Shiho's fault as she stole his most precious thing from him. Back in junior high, Tenji had 2 close friends. He had saved 1 million yen, and combined with his friends' money, he wanted to start a business with his 2 friends. Shiho then joined his school and met his friends. Since that day, they had trouble managing their funds. They asked him if he is dating Shiho, and Tenji explained that it's just that their parents wanting them to be together. The 3 managed to keep balancing their funds and had a total of 3 million yen. One day, one of them suggested to split the money in 3 and invest them separately. Once they get a total of 20 million, the one who made the most money will be the CEO of their company and also get the right to propose to Shiho. That day they were kidnapped and put into the Tomodachi game, learning that one of them had a 10 million yen debt. In the third game, Tenji is the sole loser and takes the 20 million debt all by himself, but since he is a minor, Manabu told him they will take 20 million yen worth of his life. Tenji was released 2 days later and told to not tell anyone about the game. He confronted his friend, asking him why he betrayed them, and he told Tenji that he used all the money for Shiho. His 2 friends transferred and Shiho asked him if that's why he feels down, and since they saw him talking to one of them, she wondered if they talked about her. Tenji ended up revealing the Tomodachi game to his father, who went to speak with Shiho, but soon after that was found dead, seemingly by suicide. Tenji decided to investigate Shiho, but got an anonymous mail threatening him that he will disappear too. Tenji decided to gamble it all and play a Tomodachi game, corner her and show her true colors. Yuichi realizes that he screwed Tenji's plan, but Tenji tells him that isn't the case and Shiho told a big lie. Tenji explains that their total debt right now is 10.8 million yen. That surprises Yuichi, who also wonder why he knows the total debt. Tenji explains that once you clear the second game, management reveals the total debt. Tenji removes his hand from his name tag and asks Manabu to reveal their total debt again, who then reveals that Group C total debt is 10.8 million yen. Yuichi then calculates that their debt should have been 18.8 million, which means someone lied about his debt. Tenji reveals he also lied in the first game. His card told him he can cut his debt in half and he was minus 1.6 million yet then, but now his real debt is 2.1 million yen. They guess that Makoto's got the same offer and is probably at 200k debt right now. With that, they are still at 14.8 million debt. Shiho had 6.2 million debt, but if they assume she didn't got the penalty for speaking, she would be at 2.2 million, which makes the total 10.8 million yen correct. Yuichi notes that if this is all true, Shiho is quite the con artist, however, he can't trust anyone. He wonders why Tenji decided to follow him, and Tenji reveals it's because Yuichi stated he will destroy the Tomodachi game. His main goal is to avenge his father, and Tomodachi game and Shiho are related to that. To make Yuichi believe him, Tenji shows him the back of his nameplate that had 2.1 million debt, which increased to 4.2 million as penalty for revealing it. Tenji wants to follow Yuichi and is fine even if Yuichi uses him as a tool. Yuichi tells him they have 3 days and he will think about it. After about 60 hours, Yuichi asks Tenji what friends mean to him, but Tenji reveals he stopped thinking about it after his friends betrayed him. Yuichi wonders if Makoto and Yutori are just strangers to him, but even though Tenji confirms, Yuichi doesn't believe him, otherwise he wouldn't have picked them for the Tomodachi game. Yuichi wants Tenji to apologize to them, even if they don't forgive him. Yuichi then states that if he keeps that promise, he will also make a promise to clear the third game. Once the 3 days are over, Yuichi and Tenji are released in a forest. There, they meet Sergeant Manabu. At the management, Reiko Tamai visits Tsukino, saying that the third game is starting and they will be facing her group. Seeing that there are only 2 left from Group C, Reiko notes that her team will definitely win, as in this game the bigger team always have the advantage. However, Yukino isn't sure about it and suggests they make a bet, and Reiko agrees. Manabu announces that the third game is friendly hide-and-seek and is a competitive battle format. Group C will face Group K, and the one who loses it's game over for them. Group K members note that it will be easy against just 2 people. Tenji believed that Tomodachi game tests friendships within the group. Manabu confirms, stating that you test your friendship because you have opponents. Each team must choose one hider who will hide somewhere in the forest, while the remaining members are seekers, searching for the hider. Manabu reveals the rules and Tenji sees switch teams. Manabu explains that the seeker can switch to the enemy team, but if they win, he won't go to the 4th game. If you switch to the enemy team and they win, you will pass your debt to the losing team. And with just 2 people on the team, if one of them switches, the game ends immediately. Yuichi wonders what will happen if you switch, but your original team wins. Manabu states the traitor will receive an amount of debt equal to the average debt of the losing team, then return to their original team and participate in the 4th game. Manabu tells Yuichi that he can't trade name tags in this game. Manabu reveals that someone made it to the 3rd game alone, and if they want to add it to their team. Tenji naturally prepares to decline, but Yuichi wonders if it's a girl, and upon confirmation, he agrees for her to join them. Tenji says they can't trust the person, but Yuichi tells him that it's almost impossible to win with just 2 people. Maria Mizus then shows up. Reiko sees Yuichi and comments that the higher-ups were alerted that he threatened to destroy the game, so they send out Maria to keep an eye on him. She wondered what kind of person Yuichi was, but letting Maria that easily, he can't be really deep. Reiko reveals that there is one more way to win in Tomodachi game, beside trusting your game, and that is to have charisma. Her Group K has such person, a genius in fact, and Tsukino will soon find out which one it is. Tsukino wonders about that, and doubts that a genius can kill a monster. Juzu Katakura tells Yuichi and Tenji that he will be the one to hide and they won't have a chance to win, as he will never give up. Tenji states he will be the hider, as he can't make Yuichi sit and they can't trust Maria who can just give up. The 2 teams are then give 2 hours to hide. Tenji, Yuichi, and Maria are looking for a place where Tenji can hide. They recall the rules that Manabu explained. You can't use violence to force the other team to tell you where the hider is. You also can't move the hider, and once he settles on a hiding spot, he isn't allowed to move until the game is over. Breaking any of those rules will result in instant loss and doubling of each member's debt. Manabu then explains the things you can do and brings out cell phones that he hands out to everyone and states they can contact anyone from the game, friend or foe. Yuichi tells Tenji that he probably won't call him unless there is an emergency. Tenji feels a bit dizzy as they haven't eaten in 3 days. They recall that Manabu stated there is food in the middle of the forest and they can eat as much as they want once the game starts, but they need to bring the food to the hider. Manabu also gives a give up button to the hiders, stating that if they get bored or lonely and don't want to proceed, they can use it and their group would immediately lose. But only the hider can press it. After finding a spot, Yuichi leaves Maria far away and they went to hide Tenji in a small cave. Tenji wonders if the 3 of them can still win as the enemy have more people, and Yuichi states they probably won't if they play clean. Yuichi tells Tenji that they can win if they don't play clean, but it all depends on how much Tenji can hold. Tenji promises to not give up as Yuichi is his last hope to avenge his father. As the 2 hours they were given to hide is about to expire, Yuichi then leaves, not explaining his plan to Tenji. Tenji spends 2 days in the cave without any contact from Yuichi. He starts to wonder why Yuichi haven't came back yet, but as the enemy team haven't found him yet, he starts to realize it may be a really long game. As Yuichi haven't even bring him food, Tenji starts to have doubts if Yuichi haven't betrayed him, but that wouldn't explain why it takes so much time. He begins to think that Yuichi is punishing him for his betrayal and is ready to give up, but in the end decides not to. Tenji then calls Yuichi, but he doesn't answer. Yuichi then returns the call and Tenji answers, but instead of Yuichi, it's someone from the other group, who tells him that Yuichi plans to abandon him. He also tells Tenji that Yuichi haven't been searching for anyone and it's been spending time with the girl, eating and relaxing. Yuichi had also said that Tenji had screwed them in the 2nd game and he won't forgive Tenji. The man suggests to give the phone to Yuichi, but thinking, Tenji states that isn't necessary, as if Yuichi wants to contact him, he will, and he will keep trusting him and keep waiting. The men then tells him when he gives up to press the button or he will die. As Tenji hangs them phone, Hyakutaro asks Kei in what conditions is Tenji. Kei explains he tried to bluff, but he sounds like a mess. They feel sorry for him as there is no way they can win, since Juzu came up with a perfect strategy. Right before the third game, Juzu explains he came with a strategy to win the game. Juzu explains that this isn't a game of luck, but test of friendship. Juzu points out that Manabu stated they will play in this vast forest, making him wonder how big the forest is. The group realizes that the forest is indeed big, and being 2 or 4, it will still be nearly impossible to find someone. Juzu then reminds them that the important point is that they need to bring food to the hiders. Everyone in the group except Hyakutaro figures what that means. Kei wonders if they need to put someone right into the food station, and as Juzu confirms, Kei explains he isn't a fast runner. Juzu tells Hyakutaro and Chisato to run to the food station, while Kei and Banri find him a place to hide. Reiko notes that her group's leader is the genius and they have perfect unity. Tsukino confirms they have unity, but instead of typical friends, they are more like a team. Reiko confirms that they indeed are members of a basketball team. On day 3 of the game, Tsukino asks Reiko if she is sure that today the game will end, and Reiko confirms. She looks at Tenji's face and states they just need to follow the searcher when they bring food to the hider, since normally finding someone in the forest would be nearly impossible. Since Group K has 4 searches, 2 can always stay close to one of the enemy searchers. And since they are all athletes, it won't be easy to escape them. However, if the searcher decides not to move, the hider will eventually decide to give up due to hunger and thirst. Additionally, even if 3 people of Group K decide to deliver the food, the 2 members from Group C can't follow them all. Tenji is also under massive handicap as he haven't eaten for 3 days before the game. Thus, Reiko believes that it's just a matter of time for Group C to lose. At the end of the 3rd day, Tenji sees Yuichi coming and bringing him food. Reiko is surprised to who he talks, and Tsukino guesses that he is hallucinating due to the stress and hunger. Reiko finds it strange that Yuichi doesn't even try to bring food or even call to cheer up Tenji. Instead, he spent all the time at the food station and even revealed a lot of info about his team. Reiko also wonders if Maria will just continue to observe, as even though she is observer, she acts a member of Group C right now. Tsukino states that Maria sent her one report, that Yuichi is even more of a crazy than she thought. At the same time, Yuichi makes a move and states he wants to join Group K. Reiko can't believe that Yuichi wants to switch sides and thinks he is bluffing. Tsukino states it's actually plausible for Yuichi to do it, so that he can achieve his goals. She wonders if Reiko would agree if he switches, and Reiko confirms, as normally that will mean they will win for sure. Tsukino believes that the game will really move if they decide to accept Yuichi's switch or not. Yuichi tells Group K that he wishes to switch in order to make Tenji suffer even more for betraying them. According to the rules, the switch can only happen at the middle of the forest where the food station is, and it requires only one member of the group to accept the switch. However, once you switch, you can't switch again and go back to your team. Most of the Group K agree, but K states that until now they always ask their captain to decide and suggests they ask him again. As they agree to call him, Yuichi starts laughing and apologizes, but finds it ridiculous that they can't make a simple decision like this by themselves. He proceeds to mock them and their captain, wondering what kind of control freak he is. Hyakutaro gets angry, stating that their captain isn't like that, and attempts to punch Yuichi, but his friends stop him. Kei goes to call their captain. Reiko is glad that the game didn't end due to an accident, but Tsukino wonders if it really was just an accident. Kei returns and states that their captain is not allowing Yuichi to switch sides. Reiko is surprised, but Tsukino believes it's the right decision. Juzu believes in his strategy and that they will win either way, so he asks his friends to keep trusting him and proceed with his plan. Juzu told Kei that if Yuichi keeps insisting to switch sides, they should make the girls switch too, as that way they can't pull any tricks. Juzu believes that if they let Yuichi, he may end up tricking them into revealing where he is, and he can contact the girl and tells her where he is. Maria comments to herself that the plan was too easy to read, but unfortunately, all this is still part of Yuichi's plan. 2 days ago, few hours after the game started, Maria asks Yuichi what they will do. Yuichi explains that they will do nothing for 2 days and give the impression that he has no intention of fighting. Then on the 3rd day, he will want to switch. If he is able to switch, he will try getting their hiding spot and tell Maria about it. However, Yuichi feels there is 10 to 1 chance the plan to fail, and he thinks they figured the only sure way to find the hider, and that is to follow the other team when they deliver food. If this was normal hide and seek, you will normally pick the smallest guy to hide. However, as they picked the largest guy, it means they have already figured it's not a normal hide and seek, and picked the guy that will be the most patient over a long fight. Maria wonders what he will do if they deny his switch. Before telling her, Yuichi wants to know if she will swear her absolute obedience to him. As she confirms, Yuichi tells her his plan, and she realizes why he asked if she was a girl earlier before accepting her to his team. Yuichi tells Group K he changed his mind and don't want to switch. They wonder if it's because their captain saw through his plan, but he denies it, stating that after watching them, he now believes they will win easily. Maria recalls Yuichi's plan. He intends to do small talk for 2 days with the other group and try to provoke them sometimes, while looking for something. Once he finds it, he will move to the next step. At the morning of the 4th day, Kei and Banri go to deliver food to their captain. Chisato goes to look after Maria, while Hyakutaro remains with Yuichi, who asks him if he has been in basketball for a while. Yuichi compliments them, stating they are a really good team and their captain is great and super sharp. Hyakutaro is glad that Yuichi finally sees that. However, he reveals that he kept making crappy shots and Juzu ended up injured, so he trained hard to make his captain shine. Yuichi comments that Hyakutaro is a wholesome, honest man, but wonders then why he ended up playing the Tomodachi game, and wonders who in their team is in debt. Chisato returns and stops Hyakutaro, telling him that they will switch spots and he will go to Maria. Hyakutaro goes to Maria, but sees she is gone. He starts looking for her and ends up finding her washing herself. Realizing he will be called a pervert, he runs back to the camp screaming. Chisato wonders about Maria and decides to go watch her, but Hyakutaro stops him, stating that he will be a pervert if he does. Yuichi then yells to Maria that he found it. Yuichi then grabs a bag and starts running. Chisato tells Hyakutaro to go after Yuichi, while he will go after Maria. As they chase them, Yuichi and Maria end up together again. They run next to a cliff and Chisato comments that he probably said "found" as was a signal for a chance to split them and run. Yuichi explains this is what he intended and what he found was something else. He then acts like his hand slipped and pushes Maria off the cliff. Meanwhile, Tenji is at his limit. He is ready to push the give up button, but recalls that even if he escapes his current pain, he will have to return to his empty life. Tenji decides to keep trusting Yuichi and bet his life on him. He is sorry that he couldn't apologize to everyone, but at least he didn't betray anyone else. He then feels water on his lips, and as he opens his eyes, he sees Yuichi giving him water. While he eats and drinks, Yuichi tells him that they could follow him if he brought him food earlier. Tenji tells him he should have told him that on the first day, so he doesn't suffer, but Yuichi states he wanted to test him and see if he would push the give up button. And if he didn't push it, he would start trusting him again. Yuichi explains that this doesn't mean he now distrusts Shiho, but once they are back, they will get to the bottom of it. Tenji wonders how he managed to lose Group K, and Yuichi guesses they are probably trash-talking him right now. Hyakutaro managed to save Maria from the fall. Chisato wanted to continue after Yuichi, but Hyakutaro tells him he needs his help to pull Maria up. Chisato states he won't get hurt if she falls, but Hyakutaro yells at him for not wanting to help a girl and let her get hurt, which forced Chisato to come and help. Maria is a bit shaken. She recalls that Yuichi states he will use her as distraction, but she didn't expect this. Yuichi tells Tenji how he used Maria and he knew that if he slows one, he would slow the two of them. Yuichi explains that he was observing the personalities and relationships in Group K. He sometimes spilled some info to get them talking, and other times he just provoked them. He eventually was able to find Hyakutaro, who at first looks short-tempered and impulsive jerk, but is more compassionate than the others and self-conscious about past mistakes. He is also naive and kind to girls, and Yuichi was looking for the kindest person in Group K. The other guy, Chisato, always pays attention to Hyakutaro and reacts to almost everything Hyakutaro says or do. Chisato personality is dilettante, jack of all trades, but master of none. When such personality meets sincere person, deep inside, he is really jealous to him. And when Hyakutaro really asks for help, it would be hard for Chisato to turn him down. As he managed to prove his analyze, all he needs left to do is to destroy all the relationships in Group K. In the last 3 days, Yuichi states he planted all sorts of traps. And the first will be set in motion any minute now. Meanwhile, Maria grabs Chisato's arm and thanks him for saving her, which surprised both Chisato and Hyakutaro. Yuichi returns to the food camp. Hyakutaro and Chisato are arguing and Hyakutaro tells Manabu that he is joining Group C. Tenji wonders how Yuichi plans on destroying the relationship in Group K. When Manabu confirmed that the third member is a girl, Yuichi decided to use her as honey trap. Maria thanks Chisato for saving her life, but he states she should be thanking Hyakutaro. However, looking at him, Maria states she hates him as he was peeking on her while she was naked. Hyakutaro tries to explain it was an accident and that she was in her underwear, confirming he saw her. He states he didn't remember it, but as Maria questions him, he apologizes, stating he remembers it and it's branded in his memory. Maria then smiles and states she lied, and thanks Hyakutaro for saving her. Her charming smiles moves Hyakutaro. Chisato wonders what would have happened if Hyakutaro didn't save her and states that Yuichi is an asshole, but terrified, Maria doesn't want to badmouth him, fearing what he may do if he learns of it. The three decide to return to the food station, but Maria feels pain in her leg. Seeing that, Hyakutaro offers to carry her on his back and she agrees, telling him that he is really kind person and regrets that she ended up in Group C. Back at the food station, Hyakutaro and Chisato tell Kei and Banri what happened. Kei realizes that if Yuichi managed to get food, then the game could be prolonged even more. Yuichi returns and starts ordering Maria, stating she belongs to him. Hyakutaro gets angry and tries to stand up for her, but Maria stops him, saying that's what Yuichi wants. Angry, Yuichi starts pulling Maria's hair for getting in his way. Kei tells Manabu that this is violence, and Manabu confirms, but states it's against a own team member and only violence against opponents is forbidden. Yuichi then provokes them even more, stating he can do whatever he wants to Maria and that won't break any rules. Hyakutaro suggests that Maria joins their team, but Chisato stops him, stating that something feels off and wonders if they are being tricked. As Chisato have experience with women, he feels she may be acting. He and Hyakutaro then end up in an argument, getting ready to even fight, but Kei stops them and reminds them that their captain should decide if she can join or not. Yuichi finds them pathetic for being unable to decide on their own if they should protect a girl. That angers Hyakutaro again and he wants to be the one who will talk to their captain. Kei accepts, but suggests they both go directly talking to him as that would be better. Yuichi thinks that since Juzu haven't been here to solve the conflicts, the relationship between Chisato and Hyakutaro had worsened. He thinks Juzu would likely allow Maria to join them, but according to their plan, Maria will decline, stating that Yuichi is holding something against her. Hyakutaro then would lose control and hit Yuichi. However, it's quite possible that his teammates to hold him, but that will still increase the friction in their group relationship. Eventually, Yuichi plans to influence Hyakutaro to switch to their side and if he do that, he is sure they will win, as has a few ways to make him spill their captain's location. Several hours later, Kei and Hyakutaro return, and disappointed, Hyakutaro tells Maria that Juzu didn't allow for her to switch sides. However, Juzu told him that there is one more way to protect the girl. Chisato realizes it and tries to convince Hyakutaro to not do it. But he goes to Manabu and tells him he wishes to switch sides to Group C. Yuichi immediately approves and Manabu announces that Hyakutaro is now part of Group C. Hyakutaro explains that he still plans to play for Group K and is ready to take the double debt when they win. Hyakutaro then attempts to punch Yuichi, but he easily avoids and pins him to the ground. He tells him he won't allow him to be violent in either group and he will tie him up. Yuichi tells Group K that it's a good time to go and talk with their captain. Yuichi calls Tenji and tells him that he managed to get one of their members in their group and now he only need to make him tell him where Juzu is. Hyakutaro apologizes that he won't be able to protect Maria, but she is happy that he tried. However, she feels that Yuichi may do horrible things to him to make him spill where their captain is. Hyakutaro states he is tough, but Maria tells him that Yuichi will do anything and has even killed people. Hyakutaro is surprised and wishes to tell her where their captain is, but in reality, he doesn't really know. Yuichi, who secretly listens to their conversation, is shocked to hear that. Elsewhere, Juzu tells Kei that Hyakutaro switched just like he suggested. Kei tell him it's fine and part of his plan, but reminds Juzu to talk politely to him when they are alone. Reiko is happy to see Yuichi's surprised face. As Kei is now exposed to be the genius in her group, she states that a true genius is someone who controls and manipulates everything from the shadows. Yuichi asks Hyakutaro why he didn't see their captain, and Hyakutaro explains that on their way there, Kei received a call, telling them to get back to the food station as Group C was up to something. Having no choice, Kei then decided to call their captain and not visit him. Yuichi realizes that Kei is the true leader and calls him. Kei realizes that he finally figured it out. Yuichi tells him that he underestimated them and he didn't notice he was controlling their every move. Yuichi has no intention on making another mistake, but Kei states they secured their win when they got the time bomb Hyakutaro. Kei states that while Yuichi isn't as smart as him, he should be able to figure out what he means. Yuichi is shocked and tells Maria that they will definitely lose. Juzu comments that Kei looks happy and Kei confirms that thanks to Yuichi he wasn't bored in the last few days. Juzu asks if they are truly going to win, and knowing he is a blockhead, Kei explains that there are two main points. Hyakutaro switching sides, but having no intention to betray them. And if a player uses violence against an opponent. And with those two things, they will eventually win. Kei then decides to find Tenji and get a clear win. Tsukino asks Reiko what is Kei's backstory and she explains he is a genius, but because of that gets bored of everything fast. She believes he joined Tomodachi game just to kill some time. Tsukino wonders why Juzu obeys him. Reiko guesses that Kei found his weak point. As Yuichi panics, Maria wonders what is happening. Yuichi states it's due to the violence rule, and if Hyakutaro attacks someone from Group K, they will lose immediately. This is why Yuichi tied up Hyakutaro, but he also expected they to win right away. As that isn't happening, Hyakutaro turns into a time bomb, which he needs to watch 24/7, making them unable to move. Yuichi then figures they can hide Hyakutaro, but Chisato and Banri show up, saying he is too late. In the morning, Maria goes away. She is starting to feel bored and doesn't notice Kei, who comments he hoped to get her alone. He is sure that she is from the management, which surprises her that he figured it out. Kei explains that they received food rations based on how big their group is. Group C were only 2 people and they were given only water. However, when Maria showed up, she didn't look hungry at all. That makes her no ordinary player, and it's only logical she to be from the management. Kei states he could also ask her about her previous team, but feels it's pointless. Maria also finds it pointless and asks him what he wants. Kei wants Maria to betray Yuichi. As Group K is surely going to win, and as a player, it would be weird for her to not betray him. Maria comments she tried to play cute and innocent, and wonders if betraying him would make her feel like different character. Kei states he feels like a kind of person who likes fun over reason and logic, which surprises Maria that he figured her out. Kei tells her she will have more fun with him and he could make the sadistic Yuichi crumble into pathetic failure. Maria gets excited as she finds that quite fun. Maria calls Yuichi, asking him if there is anyone nearby. Yuichi tells her they are watching him, but are not close. She asks Yuichi if he could tell her where Tenji is. As she is right now alone, she could bring him food. Yuichi then sees Kei joining Chisato and Banri. If they are able to buy more time, Maria thinks that Yuichi may be able to figure out something. Yuichi then agrees and tells her. Maria then returns and goes to Kei, making him realizes she betrayed them. Yuichi falls on his knees and yells in anger. Kei is confident that Yuichi told her the actual location, and as there is nothing he can do now, he suggests they should start searching before it gets dark. As it's getting dark, Kei calls Tenji. He tells him that Yuichi is awful and is ready to let Tenji die as long as he wins. Kei states that Yuichi is planning something terrible and Tenji should cut ties with him as soon as possible. Tenji states he doesn't know anything. However, Kei states he couldn't hear him and wants him to repeat it louder. Tenji gets angry and yells to keep his mouth shut as he doesn't know anything and that he is betting on Yuichi. Kei states he heard him loud and clear and then appears in front of Tenji, stating he found him. Manabu announces that the game is over and all, including the hider, should come to the food station. Tenji is surprised that they lost, but Kei states they got the wrong opponents as he is genius. Juzu stands over Yuichi after punching him. Manabu announces the winner of the third game, Friendly Hide and Seek, to be Group C. Kei is surprised and notes that they found the enemy hider first. Manabu confirms, but states that isn't the only way to win. Kei then turns and sees Juzu apologizing to everyone for pushing the give up button. A bit earlier, Yuichi is shocked of how things turned. He asks Hyakutaru if everyone left, and as he confirms, Yuichi stops being depressed and wants to continue, stating that the moment Hyakutaru switched teams, Group C win became certain. Yuichi states that he didn't want this to turn to this. He calls Juzu and asks him to press the give up button. Juzu naturally declines. Yuichi states he will be punching Hyakutaru until he presses the button and starts punching him. Juzu thinks this is a bluff and wonders why Hyakutaru isn't making a noise. Yuichi is surprised too, as he didn't expect Hyakutaru to be tough. He gives the phone to Hyakutaru, who has difficulty speaking, but states Juzu is correct and Yuichi is bluffing. Hearing the waver in his speech, Juzu starts thinking he is indeed being punched. Reiko, who watches Yuichi punching Hyakutaru, notes that he isn't a monster, but a devil. Juzu asks Hyakutaru to hold on as Kei will soon find the hider. Yuichi then states he will break something that can't be fixed. Yuichi knows they are a basketball team and Hyakutaru practiced a lot to score his shots, due to missing and causing an injury to Juzu. Yuichi intends to break Hyakutaru's finger, stating that even after it heals, it won't be the same and won't have the same precision as before. Yuichi gives Juzu 10 seconds and gags Hyakutaru's mouth to not bite his tongue. After 10 seconds, he breaks his finger. Juzu hears it, and as he had heard same sound when he got injured, he believes it's true and apologizes to Hyakutaru. Yuichi states he will proceed breaking his fingers. Juzu calls his a scum, but Yuichi states the scum is Juzu as he started it all, as Group K is playing the Tomodachi game due to Juzu's debt. Back at after the game, Yuichi explains that no one knew about the debt and they didn't want to talk about it. Initially he was thinking the debt belonged to Kei and Juzu was protecting him, but as he realizes Kei is commanding Juzu, it meant that Juzu is the one with the debt. Juzu explains that his family business was sinking in debt and it got so bad that he was going to quit school and start working. However, he wanted to play one last tournament with everyone, and Kei states he would help him pay it, on the condition Juzu obeys Kei. Juzu apologizes and states it's all his fault. However, he can't forgive Yuichi and continues punching him. Hyakutaru stops him, but Juzu wonders why as he broke his finger. Hyakutaru shows his fingers are fine, that surprises Juzu as he was sure he heard a bone breaking. He then realizes and checks Yuichi's hand and see he broke his own finger. Yuichi states they had reasons why they can't lose and he couldn't think of a better way, guessing he really is a cowardly piece of shit. Juzu wonders why Hyakutaru didn't tell him and Hyakutaru reveals that Yuichi promised to let Juzu hit him as much as he hit Hyakutaru. Juzu states they indeed lost. Kei, however, can't accept that. And it's Juzu who lost. Kei's plan was perfect, but the rest held him back. Bonri then picks up Kei and spanks him, making Kei wonder why his big brother is doing that. Bonri states he isn't his real brother, but they grew up together and he is like his big brother. Bonri tells Kei to give up as his strategy didn't account for this situation, thus he lost. Juzu also made the right decision to press the button, because if he had let down Hyakutaru, he would have lost everyone's respect. Juzu states he will try making them transfer all their debt to him and hopes the other four won't split up. Maria wonders if Yuichi knew who she is. Yuichi states she is from the management. She was seemingly weak and insecure, but managed to follow his difficult instructions too perfect. As he knew she was from the management, he pushed her off the cliff without any guilt. Yuichi's reaction when she betrayed him was part of the plan on making them think they will win and leave Yuichi behind. Yuichi asks Maria to tell her bosses that he will absolutely crush them. Tenji doesn't think that Yuichi is a cowardly piece of shit. He may not have the nicest ideas, but he didn't break Group K's friendship. Tenji is sure that Yuichi is a good person. Yuichi thinks to himself that if Juzu didn't push the button, he may have broken Hyakutaru's finger, as his old him would have done it without flinching. Yuichi wonders if Tenji knew that part of him, would he think he is still a good person? Yuichi and Tenji are released for a while until the fourth game starts. They go to school and find Yutori trying to clean the bad messages left, calling them thieves and wishing their death. Yutori starts crying and reveals that Shiho and Makoto had disappeared. Yutori explains that a week ago, Manabu informs Yutori, Shiho and Makoto that since they won't participate in the third game, they can go home temporarily. However, they can't talk about the game or should not run away. Manabu reveals that the Group C's total debt is 10.8 million yen, which surprises Shiho, who states they shouldn't listen to Manabu as it may poison their friendship. Manabu states they are free to believe him or not, but Yuichi and Tenji also already know the total debt. Tenji believes that Shiho's secreted out and that's why she ran away. Yutori isn't sure about what secret he means, but states there is a reason Shiho disappeared. Yutori explains that when they returned to school, the vice president Hanamiya questioned Shiho if it's her who stole the trip funds. Normally the other classes stored the money into accounts, but their teacher said that Shiho insisted on collecting them in cash. Makoto tries to protect her, but Shiho stops him from revealing who stole it as it's related to the game. Hanamiya states they also believe that Makoto is an accomplice. However, Makoto states that's ridiculous as he is rich and 2 million are nothing for him and will lend them the money. Yuichi guesses that something bad happened after that. Yutori confirms and states 2 days later, Yutori's father was arrested as the police found about all that was revealed in the game. Yuichi then realizes that Makoto talked to his father about the Tomodachi game while asking him for 2 million yen. Makoto came back the next day, stating he couldn't get the money and everyone started bullying him. Shiho tried to stand up for him, but she also stopped coming to school. Other students come and wonder why Yuichi and the rest are there and not with Makoto. Heading to Makoto's house, Yuichi and the rest learn that Makoto's father have been killed. The police then take out Makoto, who is covered in blood. Makoto tries to explain something to Yuichi, but Shiho's father stops him. Seeing him, Tenji gets angry, but Yuichi stops him. Shiho's father explains it's better to not get involved or they could lose someone important to them. Yuichi states he doesn't have such person and threats don't work on him. Yuichi and Tenji wonder what to do. Yutori asks them what happened and it looks like they are now trusting each other again. Yuichi states he is done with Yutori as after the second game, she didn't even say anything to him and looked at him as a monster. Yutori states she got scared when they said he was a murderer, but waited to find out the truth. Yuichi yells at her that she is doing only what she is being told and he hates such people the most. He states she is useless in the Tomodachi game as well and is a burden. Yutori knows that, which is why she always done what they want her to do to not get in their way. Yuichi tells her she is a burden now and a stranger to them. Later, Tenji wonders if this was the right decision, but Yuichi explains that since lives are on the line, they should leave Yutori out of it and can take Yutori's debt on them. Monbu calls Tenji, telling him they will be starting a special Tomodachi game. He guesses that Yuichi is there as well and questions him if threats don't really work on him. He then sends them a picture of tied-up Yutori, stating the rules are simple, they either show up or not. If they show up, they will have a terrible time, if not, then Yutori will have a terrible time. Yuichi will be playing the weak win game. Manabu explains that if two people suffer the exact same pain, the one with self-control won't scream, but the weak one will. People will feel sad for the weak one and go easy on him. If self-control is a disadvantage, then it's like the weak wins. Manabu asks Yuichi to come to a specific location, alone. If he comes with someone else, he will never see Yutori again. Yuichi states that if they do anything to Yutori, he will kill them. Yuichi feels he needs to go as they involved Yutori in this and that this game will be different than the rest.